Bungie is rage baiting is the title of this video, and with a topic this spicy, I just had to jump in and see what we're cooking up over here.
Hello gang. I was originally going to make this video back in August when the first nerf to spreadshot hand cannons came through, because it was just such a bad change.
Okay, so first up, we're going to talk about Sandbox balancing and specifically the nerfs to these spreadshot hand cannons. Let's see what we're talking about. Let's see where this goes.
It's not even just a bad change, it is a useless change. This accomplishes nothing. But I was like, community sentiment is already rock bottom. I don't want to be just another negative voice, yada yada yada. And then they did it again. And I've honestly just been left speechless, man. Another nerf that accomplishes quite literally nothing. I'm gonna play a clip real quick. Let me know if this weapon looks like it's been nerfed twice.
Have a smoke.
This little incident with the
All right, so that was a nice clip. Obviously, he's able to make some good plays with spreadshot hand cannons. And to summarize his stance thus far, Bungie has made two very small nerfs to these spreadshot hand cannons. And his main point would be that this has done next to nothing. I mean, these hand cannons are still extremely powerful, extremely potent inside PvP. And that's true. And the reason why Bungie is taking this approach now, as opposed to an approach that they took previously, is because people would get really frustrated when something would be good and maybe like a meta weapon, and then Bungie would just drop an absolute hammer on top of it, and it would go overnight from being one of the best options to one of the worst options. So instead, what Bungie is choosing to do when they nerf things is, because of their new systems and the way that they can frequently push these patches out, basically like once a week, every week, they decide to take a very light pass, especially on new weapons that are just introduced, because of course the new weapons should be the most powerful weapons in the game. That way it incentivizes people to acquire said new weapons, right? So they actually don't want to nerf these spreadshot hand cannons incredibly. They don't want to nerf them into the ground. They just want to, week after week, very lightly nerf them more and more until they fall in line with the rest of the weapons. If we look at last week's trials report, and dear God, look at the population. Oh my God, I didn't even pay attention. 68,000 people on Solitude. Anyways, population aside, the spreadshot hand cannon here, we got the Oris Neutralizer, was second place last week. Before that on Javelin 4, it was all the way down here, I guess, at about 6th place. The week before that on Dissonance, it was in 3rd place. The week before that, it was the 3 maps, and it is 3rd place there as well. So basically what Bungie's trying to do is, with these very light passes, these very light nerfs, they want to watch the weapon fall in line with the rest of the other weapons that people are using throughout Crucible. And to a certain degree, I think that they are accomplishing this. It might need another pass. Let me know if you think that these spreadshot hand cannons should be nerfed once more. And let's see what else he has to say here.
Spreadshots is very illuminating to me. Like, I'm not crazy, right? It feels like they're doing it on purpose. Remember when the lightweight swords were bugged and they were doing like 8 billion fucking damage per hit, and they left that in the game for like a week, maybe more, I don't remember. And I was talking.
And the reason why they left that in the game for like a week, they said that they could remove it the same day, like obviously just disable that weapon. But they left it in there because when things like that are bugged, it's kind of just funny and fun, to go around and melt a bunch of bosses with an empty lightweight sword, right? They wanted to give everyone the chance and the experience to get to use that glitch, because a lot of people aren't able to use these funny glitches because YouTubers, content creators, the community find these glitches, we post about them, and within 2 hours, Bungie disables the weapon. And so people that are at work can't make it home in time to log into Destiny 2 and get to use the funny broken glitch, etc., right? So in this situation, they actually left the broken weapon in the game for a week, so that way everyone could run around and whack bosses over the head with an empty hilt, which personally I think was really funny and was a good decision from Bungie.
Talking about it with my friends, like, why aren't they patching this? They definitely could just patch it in an instant, and it just makes sense. They're trying to make it like an event. They're fucking playbaiting. No one was on the game, so they had to bait people on by making something do 1 million fucking damage. Anyway, if you've watched my channel at all, you know I'm entirely a PvP creator.
So his idea was that they are play baiting people by having something be broken. But the very interesting part about it is that these lightweight swords were actually broken with the launch of Edge of Fate. It just took people forever to figure this out. I'm not exactly sure why they were suddenly broken. If I had to create an idea in my head that makes any sort of sense, it's maybe due to the new exotic sword. Maybe they like buffed the damage of it. Maybe the new exotic sword is coded as like a lightweight sword. I have no clue. I cannot possibly understand or begin to fathom the inner workings of Bungie's spaghetti code, but I definitely don't think they put it in there intentionally to be broken. But who knows? Crazier things have happened, right?
By eat shit, I'm talking about PvE first. So there's this build that I've always wanted to be good. Ever since I knew Howl the Storm worked with the Synthos, I wanted that to be good. Oh my god, and it finally is. I was
Oh, not only is it good, it is meta. Very good. I've been using this a bunch. This is crazy build.
so happy, bro. My friend sent me a video of a build. I was like, holy shit, it's finally good. Let's get on the game, guys. Let's get on the game. And then there was nothing to do. We all made our builds, and then we got in the fire team, and we opened the portal, and there was nothing. Nothing in
Rip.
the portal gives good loot. We did an onslaught entirely for the love of the game, just to use the damn builds. The only thing the portal is good for is just getting your damn light level up, which I can just do in trials. I don't even need to hop into PvE. It's like the second I actually want to play PvE with some fun fucking loadout, there's no point. I was so desperate. Oh my god, I opened LFG. I went through every raid, every channel for every raid. No one was posting. I was so desperate for PvE, I joined a fire team finder, Master Crota. A lot of it just feels pointless. The only thing...
So he is bringing up a pretty valid point, which there's not much to do in the game right now in terms of the loot chase, especially in PvE. Like you're just there leveling up in the portal. Maybe you're farming like a mint or a couple other weapons, but for the most part, there's not enough of a loot chase currently in the game. It's mostly a power grind. But one thing that he says that's kind of interesting is that instead of jumping into the portal and playing any PvE, he can just level up playing PvP now, which is actually a really good change in my opinion, because that gives players agency to play the way that they want to play. Like if you want to just be a PvP player and level literally up to 550 playing PvP, the fact that you can do so is pretty cool. In previous Destiny eras, you were not able to do that. You basically had to play PvE if you wanted to level up in any sort of reasonable timeline, right? So the fact that you can do that now is actually pretty cool. And I do think that's a W. But holy crap, the loot that you get right now in the game is definitely lacking, to say the least. And everything being fixed around a power grind, of course, is extremely frustrating.
that I want from PV that I don't currently have is the raid SMG from DP, and I just don't care enough to go get it. Even when the slashing happened, when Bungie was trying to playbait me to get on to go grind, I did it for like an hour, and the rewards were so shitty, I just gave up. Even with the bug, 5 feet farming, just insta-nuking the boss, it felt unrewarding. I got one SMG, it was a tier 4, the roll sucked, I just gave up, I didn't have any more in me. Whatever, moving on though. The main reason
So that is an interesting point. But I would say that what he's saying is more anecdotal. Like some people will believe that the SMG is definitely worth the grind, myself included. I actually really want that SMG. I'm using a Peacekeeper's Titan build in PvE, and that exact 5 out of 5 God roll SMG is very powerful and definitely worth the grind in my opinion. But a lot of people do have like Destiny fatigue or maybe loot fatigue after playing the game for so many years. You kind of do the same thing over and over again. It doesn't quite get that same dopamine rush when you grind for those god rolls and get that exact weapon you're looking for. But is this indicative of all Destiny players, or is this more anecdotal? It's hard to say. I mean, I do think that there's, a lot of people that are OG Destiny players that are getting a little bit bored with the god roll chases. But ultimately and fundamentally, that's what Destiny 2 is. It's a loot game. So if you do get completely bored and tired of chasing for god rolls, it's definitely time to take a break from Destiny, because that's what Destiny is going to be now. That's what Destiny is going to be 5 years from now, if it's still around. That's what Destiny is going to be 20 years from now, if it's still around. It's going to be chasing for loot, which is weapons and god rolls. I mean, it's a first-person shooter game. Like the whole thing is you shoot guns. You're going to be chasing for guns as long as you play Destiny.
I'm even using the word rage bait is because of PvP. The state of PvP is so obviously pathetic that you have to be rage baiting to approve anything in the sandbox right now. Like, bro, look at what they did to Gunbird. I was so excited for this thing until I saw the base range.
Oh no, new Festival of the Lost SMG has one of the lowest base range stats on a Vice lightweight ever, tied with a Red Mamba from year one. Why do they keep doing this? God, it literally has 25 range. The freaking Death Adder has more range than it? Oh my god. Recluse, look at the comparison. Recluse has 40 base range. This thing is absolutely trash for PvP with those stats. It does have kind of an interesting PvE role, but because Mint Retrograde exists in the game at all right now, you're not going to be using anything in the kinetic slot except Mint Retrograde until they come out with an energy Mint Retrograde, right? At least if you're trying to do like meta builds and meta loadouts, you're definitely just using Mint. If you don't care about the meta, if you're just trying to use fun, new stuff and mess around in less challenging activities, then of course, by all means, use the Gunbird. But holy crap, those base stats suck.
Range. Give me one good reason this thing should have the same range as a weapon from year one. Everything else gets power crept to shit, but no, Gunburn, 25 range. Fucking enjoy, dickhead.
That's a good point. And what also is funny is that they just brought back Iron Banner and their weapons, and they did the same thing with the hand cannon. They brought back one Iron Banner hand cannon reprised, and it had the same bug stats as before. So I imagine they will probably push out a patch to fix that, but who knows what that timeline is. And we have no confirmation at this point in time that they will do that, but they definitely should. It should have at least, at least 35 range, if not more, right?
The meta is so bad right now, I don't even want to get on to play the game. I'm someone who used to drop 10 to 20 cards every single Trials weekend, but now I can barely even stomach doing one. I used to go from playing all weekend SMG Titan, just running it down, having fun with my friends, all that. Now, I'm sitting in a rift with Igneous Hammer just jerking my little dick, bro. It's so boring. But that's the thing, playing slowly...
That is the most diabolical analogy I've ever heard in a Destiny 2 YouTube video, period.
...is the only way to avoid all the bullshit in the sandbox right now. I never thought I'd be saying this, bro, but we are in an ability spam / melee meta. The term melee meta is so pathetic to me. The fact that it's even slightly viable to just run at someone and beat the shit out of them is just bad.
Titans rise up, let's go.
Especially when melees in this game just make you teleport, so if you're spamming, you are just not able to be tracked. But whatever, we all know the sandbox is pathetic. If you've played the game in the past 2 months, you know it's just unbearable. One thing I do want to say about the meta though is I think any highly skilled Destiny player could easily make a better meta than the one we're in right now. I think take any top 1,000 Destiny player, give them 15 minutes to fix the sandbox, it's done. It'll be so much better than it is right now. Something I do want to talk about is the...
Alright, that's it. Put me in charge. I'm making Jotun and 150 RPM scouts the meta. Let's go.
lack of options in PvP these days. I feel like the only modes you can play is either just Control or Trials. Like, let's go open the portal and let's go look at PvP. What's going on in here? The answer? Basically nothing. I don't see too many people lining up to go play Cutting Edge Rumble. Comp would be decent if the population wasn't dead, but you just match the same team over and over. It's not even fun. I feel like Comp could easily be revived though. Why not bring back weekly Rose focuses? Put in a gun that is something better than Solemn fucking Remembrance. Basically do anything to get people in the playlist.
Yeah, what happened to the PvP strike team? Where'd they go?
Also, I guess it just doesn't really matter if they get people into Comp, because there's just no people on the game in the first place. I miss shit like doubles, but the game just doesn't have the population to support those types of fun modes anymore. I remember when the final shape had just come out, me and my friend sat in doubles for like 300 games and we didn't lose a single one. And I don't think we matched a repeat team the entire time.
Nice.
Population back then was just high enough to support that, which is just crazy to think about these days. Like when my YouTube channel first started getting any sort of traction, I would sit in the 3v3 quick play playlist and just farm clips for montages literally all day. But that's just not a thing anymore. Population is not high enough. Every single team you're gonna match in some kind of 3v3 quick play playlist would either be cheating, sweaty, or so bad it's not even worth putting them in a montage. But even if the population was there, it doesn't even matter because there isn't quick play 3v3 anymore. I really do love Destiny with all my heart, but it has been so sad to see this game just go down the shitter. Every update further and further down the shitter. Like, bro, gun to my head, ask me what was even added with Ash and Iron, I say just shoot me in the fucking head. The only shit I noticed from Ash and Iron
All right, that is the second most diabolical analogy I've heard in a Destiny 2 video.
was one, they added Overthrow from the Pale Heart into, like, the Plague Lands from Destiny 1. And then there were no notable PvP changes at the time, so I just completely checked out. But yeah, that's about all I have to say.
What is this gameplay? He's just absolutely bullying this man Sparrow, dude. F's in the chat for Sparrow.
Like, if I sat here and pondered, I could probably be like, yeah, this sucks, yeah, everything fucking sucks, yeah. But that is not productive in the slightest.
This is me when I play PvP against my PvE friends.
Like, you know, I hope Renegades is a slam fucking dunk, bro. It brings back everyone. PvP's meta's good. Like, yeah, we're having fun, guys. But we just gotta be realistic, man. I'm not sure how good it could be. I hope that open world PvP thing I saw is good, but honestly, man, I'm not even hoping for good anymore. I'm hoping for, like, functional and maybe kind
Back snipe was fucking disgusting.
of fun. That's it, though. Goodbye.
All right, so that was Bungie is Ragebaiting from Living, and he actually had some really valid criticisms and good points to make in regards to the current status of Destiny 2. It does feel like the PvP side of things is being once again neglected. We've seen this time and time again. It's like the cycle of Destiny over and over again, which is why, at least for myself, I've just kind of completely left PvP altogether. I hop in once in a while and play like a couple games before the SBMM kicks in, and I just get absolutely fucking ass blasted like freaking poor Sparrow here. So for me, I just reside more in PvE these days, but I definitely could see where the frustrations would come from if you're a PvP-centric player, content creator, and you're really just wanting to play the game and make content, but you kind of can't do so because the game is dwindling, dying, and Bungie's making a lot of bad decisions. This is definitely frustrating for Destiny 2 content creators. Hopefully, like you said in the video, things will get better with Renegades, but it's hard not to be highly skeptical leading into Renegades, considering we're going to go into Renegades with like the lowest low we've ever experienced. Will that affect the outcome of Renegades? Will Renegades be diminished by the fact that almost no one's going to be online the day before? Or will it completely rejuvenate and save the game? Everyone's going to be online. We are so back in the chat. Only time will tell, but let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. Smash the like button. We'll see you in the next one. Later.